Have you ever faced a setback so big that it felt like everything you worked for was slipping away? Maybe it was a career setback, a personal loss, or a challenge that made you question your ability to keep going. We've all been there, haven't we? But what if I told you that one of the most powerful women in history, a woman who lived thousands of years ago, didn't just face failure. She used failure to build her empire. This woman is Cleopatra, the Queen of Egypt, a woman not only known for her beauty and political prowess, but also for her incredible resilience in the face of almost insurmountable odds. Now, you might be wondering, what does Cleopatra's story have to do with me? Well, the truth is, Cleopatra's lessons are just as powerful and relevant today as they were back then. Whether you're a parent trying to navigate the challenges of raising children, a grandparent helping guide the next generation, or simply someone looking to find strength in times of adversity, Cleopatra's story offers us invaluable wisdom on how to turn setbacks into triumphs. Today, we'll dive deep into how Cleopatra's journey can teach us how to rise above failure, embrace resilience, and pass on these life lessons to those we love most. Stay with me, because these are the lessons that could change the way you see failure, and ultimately, how you approach life itself. Cleopatra VII wasn't just a ruler. She was a symbol of strength and resilience in the face of adversity. Born into a dynasty with a history of political intrigue, betrayal, and power struggles, Cleopatra's life began with hardship. At just 18, she found herself thrust into a bitter power struggle with her younger brother, Ptolemy XIII, after their father, Ptolemy XII, died. This isn't your average coming-of-age story. Imagine this, a young woman, only 18 years old, losing everything she had, her throne, her family's legacy, and being cast out of the palace by her own blood. Many people would have given up right then and there, but not Cleopatra. She was resourceful, brave, and determined. She understood one fundamental truth. Failure is not the end. It is just the beginning of something new. Cleopatra was not content to sit idly by and let her life fall apart. She knew that her strength didn't lie in the crown on her head, but in the power she wielded as a woman who could think, strategize, and take action. As Cleopatra navigated the complex political landscape of Egypt, she realized that sheer force and power weren't enough to win battles. She needed allies, but her allies wouldn't come easily. In a world dominated by men and political games, Cleopatra had to find a way to connect with the most powerful leader of her time, Julius Caesar. Now, let's pause and think about this. What can we learn from Cleopatra's strategic thinking? It's a lesson that can be applied to all areas of life, family, career, and even the personal battles we fight every day. In times of crisis, sometimes it's not just about fighting the battle in front of you. It's about positioning yourself, forming alliances, and thinking one step ahead. Cleopatra understood this. She didn't just go after Caesar for his military power. She went after him for his mind. She understood that in order to reclaim her throne, she needed to engage Caesar's intellect and political savvy. Many of us, in our midlife or later years, face challenges that feel insurmountable. But here's the secret. There's always room for strategic thinking. Whether you're navigating a career change, supporting a loved one through a tough time, or facing your own personal struggles, think like Cleopatra. Use your resources, form meaningful connections, and be calculated in your actions. Now, let's talk about what happened next in Cleopatra's life. After meeting Caesar, Cleopatra didn't just ask for his help. She convinced him. Together, they outsmarted her enemies, and Cleopatra was restored to the throne. However, her journey didn't stop there. Even though Cleopatra regained her power, her life was far from smooth sailing. Over the years, Cleopatra continued to face challenges, both political and personal. Her relationship with Julius Caesar ended tragically when he was assassinated in 44 BC. Cleopatra was once again faced with the threat of losing everything, but instead of retreating, she chose to act decisively. She formed a new alliance with Mark Antony, another Roman leader, and together they fought to maintain Egypt's sovereignty. Unfortunately, their defeat at the Battle of Actium by Octavian, the future Emperor Augustus, led to another crushing loss for Cleopatra. But even in this ultimate moment of failure, Cleopatra didn't go down without a fight. She chose to end her life rather than be paraded through the streets of Rome in humiliation. Some might view her death as the end of her story. But for us today, Cleopatra's legacy is far from over. It's in her decisions, her resilience, and the lessons she passed on to her children and to us. Cleopatra's life is a testament to the strength of the human spirit. She could have crumbled in the face of adversity, but instead, she adapted. She used her failures not as an anchor, but as a springboard. And that's the lesson we can all learn from her. Failure is not something to fear, but something to learn from. Let's take a moment to reflect. As parents and grandparents, you've all faced difficulties, whether in raising children, managing work-life balance, or dealing with personal losses. Maybe you've experienced setbacks in your career, faced health challenges, or seen relationships fall apart. It can be easy to feel discouraged and to wonder if you're past the point of success. But let me tell you something. Cleopatra's story shows us that no matter the age or circumstance, we can rise from failure. We can pivot. We can reinvent ourselves. And most importantly, we can teach our children and grandchildren the value of resilience, perseverance, and learning from our mistakes. Think about it. Life doesn't always go as planned, but it's how we deal with life's setbacks that define us. And more importantly, it's how we show the next generation that it's okay to fail, that it's okay to make mistakes, and that we can always come back stronger. One of the key elements that made Cleopatra such a compelling figure was her confidence. Even when the world around her was crumbling, Cleopatra never lost sight of her self-worth. She wasn't afraid to be bold, and she wasn't afraid to take risks. Confidence isn't about never failing. It's about learning to stand up and keep moving forward. For parents and grandparents, this is a message we need to pass down. Confidence is something that can be nurtured at any age. It's never too late to believe in yourself. And most importantly, it's never too late to help the younger generations believe in themselves as well. Help them understand that self-worth doesn't come from the number of times they succeed. It comes from the number of times they rise after a fall. Cleopatra's life teaches us that our failures do not define us. They refine us. Each time we fall, we have the opportunity to get back up and learn something new. Life is a journey, and no journey is without its obstacles. But with the strength of our character, the resilience to keep going, and the confidence to face our fears, we can overcome anything. So, to all the parents and grandparents out there, no matter what life has thrown at you, remember that you are never too old to start again, never too old to chase your dreams, and never too old to teach your children and grandchildren the most important lesson: don't fear failure. Thank you for joining me today. If Cleopatra's story inspired you, share it with someone who needs a little encouragement. And don't forget to subscribe for more stories of inspiration. Let's keep moving forward together